Welcome to Warehouse and Operations as a Career. I'm Marty, and we appreciate you visiting with us again today. It's State Fair time here in Texas, where we don't take this particular fair lightly. Our state fair runs for 4 weeks and is a big deal around here. Last year's attendance was a little over 2.2 million people, and it even rained 11 of those 24 days. Fair Park, where the state fair is held, sits on 277 acres, and there's more to see than you can take in one day, I assure you. Anyway, this week, overtime came up so many times that I thought we'd talk a little bit about it today. You know, overtime is great at times, and overtime is bad at times. This week, I've heard about 8 individuals that walked off their jobs because their shifts were working longer hours than normal. These individuals were in different industries and were all involved in getting vendors ready and, stocked up for the State Fair of Texas. On the flip side of those stories, I heard from 12 others that love this time of year because they knew they could count on a lot of overtime during the next 4 weeks. One lady told me that this is when she makes all of her holiday money every year. In the distribution fields, you'll find many positions that's advertised or marketed as 6 a.m. to finish or 5 p.m. until finished, especially with our productivity-driven positions or, where we're selecting product for local shipments that are going to be delivered. Those case counts are driven by how many customers have ordered and how much product those orders contain. If we have our own delivery fleets, they're going to be delivering to a customer's delivery window or an optimal time chosen by our customer that they can receive those orders. So our warehouse can't shut down at a specific time. It'll be when everything is loaded out and the shift is complete. But let's say everything is shipped out with a parcel service or an LTL carrier or less than truckload freight. We may be able to have a set shift of, say, 6 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. because the delivery has not been guaranteed to arrive at any specific day or time. Take an internet storefront. We could get our order anywhere from 2 days or 2 weeks, depending on the method of shipping that the vendor uses. We'll usually find the same in the production or manufacturing fields. Most operations can have a set shift time as it may not have an immediate need for X number of units to be produced every day. If they do, though, you'll typically find that we need to stay until that production number or those number of units are produced. In our chosen field, overtime is going to come up from time to time or maybe even daily. I had a young man refer to his old position, the one that he had left to make more money for, and he explained that he was used to a set schedule and didn't understand why he was having to stay 2 or 3 hours late every day. I asked him if his hiring agent had informed him about the overtime, and he said, yeah, but I thought it would be like if you wanted to stay. You're going to find that overtime is just a part of our business. Either occasionally or daily. We're going to get paid for it. It's going to be expected, and it's just a part of our jobs. I don't think, or I hope at least, that it's not going to be a surprise to us. Entering the fields of distribution or production will require that we're there on time for every shift and that we stay until the workload is complete. You know, another thing we should probably mention is the shifts themselves, I guess. Take the distribution arena. If our company delivers its own product with its own fleet of trucks locally, or even, with some stretch miles, we will probably be working on Sundays. I know of several distribution centers that Sundays and Thursdays are their biggest shipping days for their facility. We could be off every week on, say, Saturday, but our second day off could be another day of the week. Just this week, I heard about an individual that started a new job, and he was doing great at it. His employer really liked him. His immediate supervisor thought he was really going to make a great selector. Well, he approached them and stated that he couldn't work on Sundays, that was the only day he had to spend with his family. He quit. The employer was quite puzzled why that never came up during the hiring or orientation process. I assure you that there will rarely, if ever, be exceptions made for an established shift. You're not going to change their minds. Now, at this facility, they do work a bit of overtime, usually somewhere between 3 and 10 hours over, and it can make for a long week. But that is the job that we agreed to, and more importantly, the shift that we agreed to. It's the job that we agreed to do. Now, I'm quite big on family and time off myself. However, as you know, I love operations. The hours are going to be long, the work is hard, but oh, so rewarding, for those like me at least. I think that's why I didn't go into the retail fields or banking or an office position. Those jobs, they work with set hours and set shifts. I honestly go stir crazy behind a desk and with set hours though. It's great for those that enjoy that kind of thing. I wish I did, but I like the warehouse work, and along with that, there is going to be overtime. We've mentioned headcount before, and how our head counts are figured with productivity. When the case counts exceed what we can physically do productivity-wise within our shift's parameters, we will run into overtime. When our company's percent of overtime increases to a certain number, they will hire additional headcount. Now, we'll always have call-offs or people scheduled off, so that head count may always be 1 or 2 people heavy, even a little heavier in the larger facilities. Those cases have to be produced or they have to be shipped. Ever had your supervisor or seen him or her get concerned, when too many people have called off? Overtime is something a company's going to keep under control too, I assure you. If there's a lot of OT, there's going to be a reason for it. And you'll see OT go up and down sometimes with a seasonal business or when a new account is picked up by our company. I mentioned earlier how we've agreed to the position and the overtime associated with it. I am a strong believer that we need to understand our jobs, know what is going to be expected of us, and be upfront about what we cannot commit to. There is nothing wrong with asking our hiring agent something about the overtime that's going to be associated with our position. But let's do it the right way. Maybe say something like, how many hours on average is the shift working each week? And be sure not to say something like, I don't expect to work only 8 hours. I don't mind staying until the job's done. Nobody really likes overtime. Yeah, we like the money overtime brings us, but let's be honest, we don't like staying late in those longer hours. I mention this because I had a candidate say just that to me this week. I told them that's great. The shift averages between 48 and 50 hours a week, but you can work a little more if you'd like. You can even volunteer to come in on Saturdays, if you want to make a few more hours. It's great to be positive and upbeat with our recruiters, but let's keep it real. This isn't their first rodeo. It's only going to make us look bad if we overpromise ourselves, right? Anyway, after talking a little more, my candidate decided this just wasn't going to work for him and actually asked me if there was another position available that did not require overtime. And really, no matter which side of the fence that you fall on, loving OT or hating OT, if we've taken a position that requires it, that's our job for the time being. If we love it, great, it's perfect for us. If we hate it, let's be positive about it and use it as a stepping stone to where we want to go or that next position in our career. Now, I'm the first one to tell you that a work and life balance is important, very important. We here at WAOC always encourage you to do your research when looking for a new company. Know what our duties and job descriptions are and what is going to be expected of us. If we've done that, committed to the position, let's work our way through it. That experience we'll gain will be useful in our next position. Well, I've rambled on too much about overtime today, so we'll wrap it up. If you have any thoughts about OT, share them with us at host@warehouseingoperationsAsAcareer.com. Maybe we'll start a short discussion on Facebook or Twitter. Use that little @ WHSEANDOPS, and we'll see you there. Until next week, be safe out there, especially if you're working overtime. Get our rest and be safe in all that we do. Safety is your number one priority.